I call Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my privilege and honor to speak in support of Prime Minister's statement. I would like to congratulate Scott Simpson, the hard-working member of Coromandel, for his excellent contribution. I hope he will continue to serve this House for a long time. Mr. Speaker, I begin by congratulating my government on playing their role in ensuring that New Zealand, to borrow an analogy, in the rock star economy of the world. Mr. Speaker, can I just take this opportunity to remind my fellow parliamentarians that you don't get called rock star economy by chance. It happens only and only when people given the responsibility of steering the country do so responsibly and do not lose sight of their goal, no matter how tough the conditions may be. Mr. Speaker, we made commitment to the New Zealanders when we got re-elected in 2011. It is with a lot of pride that I can share that our government is continuing to implement its commitment. Every day, we are working to ensure that New Zealand remains a competitive economy where our incomes and the level of lifestyle rises. And Mr. Speaker, unlike our opposition friends, we have a plan that we have seen work. Mr. Speaker, we are also working tirelessly on getting the public accounts back in surplus and reducing debt. We want to ensure that the taxpayer dollars are spent efficiently on the services required by the taxpayers, such as better health care facilities, reduced waiting time for the surgeries, more police on the roads to ensure safety of our citizens. We are building infrastructure that contributes to the development of New Zealand economy, be it in Christchurch or state highways or even ultra-fast broadband. Mr. Speaker, the economy has grown at a wonderful rate of 3.5%, which has earned New Zealand the rockstar economy. Latest projections by the Treasury advise that our country should be in surplus by next year. This is, in my opinion, an achievement for a significance considering the projections of high debt level given to us when we started 5 years ago. I congratulate Prime Minister Right Honourable John Key and the Finance Minister Bill English on their leadership in achieving this. Mr. Speaker, here I would like to add that the ethnic community have played a very effective role in contributing to this economy. In Manukau East, most of the migrants I know are engaged in employment or are entrepreneurs. The purpose of them moving, I am talking about the migrants. Yeah, you are not aware of those people. You are just in your own patch. The purpose of them moving to New Zealand is not to rely on the state, but work smart and hard. Ethnic communities want to ensure economic success of themselves and their families. They also contribute to the economy by generating jobs and paying taxes. There is little surprise that number of people moving to New Zealand continues to grow. With the growth of these numbers, we can be hopeful that New Zealand remains an attractive destination for investment, tourism, and settlement of skilled migrants. This will also ensure that we can address the labour shortage in critical areas such as information technology, science, and research. Research from the Treasury and number of other government agencies and private entities provide consistent evidence of positive contribution that migrants and ethnic communities have made to New Zealand economy. Apart from economic contribution, the ethnic and migrant communities have added to New Zealand's culture, cuisine, and languages. Hindi is the fourth most spoken language in our country, and we seem to enjoy more multicultural food than any other part of the world. Once again, success of all New Zealanders, including the ethnic community, is attributed to the policies and the programs run by national government. I, as a migrant, thank our Prime Minister, Right Honourable John Key, and Minister of Ethnic Affairs, Honourable Judith Collins, for their effort in promoting New Zealand to be contributory and skilled migrants. That's the problem, Mr. Whip, that you are yawning, you are not listening to people and sleeping. You need to wake up. Never need to wake up.
Point of order, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr. Speaker, I feel duty bound to come clean. It was not the senior whip who was yawning, it was me. I was yawning at that speech.
Apology, Mr. Cosgrove, you are the one who were yawning. You need to wake up.
Point of order, Ian Lees-Galloway.
In fairness to my colleague, he's putting us all to sleep.
Yeah, I just... Oh, order. Okay. The member keeps saying "you," which refers to the speaker. So from now on, all right. I'm on my feet. So I just ask the member, don't bring the presiding officer into the debate.
Apology, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister takes time out of his busy schedule to participate in many of the ethnic events as possible. I have accompanied him to Diwali, Holi, Chinese New Year, and many other celebrations. Our Minister of Ethnic Affairs has taken a number of initiatives to encourage the ethnic community of New Zealand. In 2013, her office organized a Muslim World Forum. The forum was organized for all those who have interest in the contemporary issues relating to the New Zealand's relationship with the Muslim world and the New Zealand Muslim community. The Minister of Ethnic Affairs also organized a working group drawing together that New Zealand's corporate leader. The purpose was to support the entrepreneurial spirit of the ethnic community. Diverse New Zealand incorporation and collaboration of some of these countries' biggest and brightest business minds, and the platform aim is to galvanize businesses to harness the economic benefits, business gain and the GDP uplift that results from the diverse leadership and diversity of thought. This National Party leadership believes in an open and transparent forum of governments. We believe in the clarity sharing of our vision with New Zealanders, with our citizens. Our goal is to make this country a better place for New Zealand and their families. In our intention to continue to make progress on the work and efforts that we have out in over the past 5 years, our leader, John Key, has comprehensive policy, agenda and legislative program to share with the House at the appropriate time. Our policy, agenda and legislative program is based on our 4 priorities. First, to be responsibly manage the government's finances, to build more competitive and productive economy, to deliver better public services to New Zealanders, to support the rebuild of Christchurch.
That's right.
Mr. Speaker, the last 5 years of governance provided by national government under John Key is evidence of stable leadership that has put our country on positive trajectory. I have little doubt that we will continue to make progress, and I support the Prime Minister's statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a